Go ahead.
Like, it's Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. Hey y'all! Welcome, welcome.
Welcome. What's going on?
We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. and we're so
Yes.
happy to have you joining the conversation
Yay.
because you already know how I do. I love it when y'all talk to me. I'm not here to talk to just my co-hosts. I'm here to talk to y'all as well. They're here to hear from you all. We want your feedback. We want your comment. It gets me high. I love it. All right. So welcome. We got a good topic tonight. But before we get into this, I always gotta ask my co-hosts, Michael and Deanne, how y'all doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
I am wonderful. This has been a great Monday.
Good.
My Mondays are
Yay.
usually, but this has actually been a great Monday. So,
This has been a long Monday for me. I worked till 7 o'clock, so
and look how dedicated you are to the people.
I know, right? We're gonna make Monday happen no matter what, right?
Right. Michael, how's your day going?
It was good. Actually, we just got back from Atlanta.
All righty.
Yeah,
I hope
Sarah and I
you.
had to go pick up some wedding stuff from her brother
Uh-oh,
and
the
sister-in-law.
day is coming. How
Yeah,
Yeah.
are
I
you
went to the
feeling? Are you like giddy, excited? Tell us how you're feeling.
I'm very excited. Involved. Sarah's making sure I stay involved. I got plans, and she gives me homework, things that I need to take care of, and
for
it's
her.
good.
Do you get
So,
graded on the homework?
uh, let's just say I'm a teacher's pet.
All right too.
So if you
This,
turn in late, you'll still get an A.
Right.
this should be married to the teacher. You might as well be the pet.
Why not? I think
Why
she
not?
likes me.
She thinks she likes you.
I'm gonna get off this one and go on my phone.
Okay.
We should ask her.
All right, y'all. I have to tell you, I'm getting excited. Hey, Wendy, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm excited because I've been working really, really hard. Um, I've been working really, really hard for the last couple of weeks, and I have to say that I am just about ready to launch these t-shirts. People have still been asking me, and yes, I am still launching the Becoming a Being merchandise, and so we are working on that this week. I don't know, I'm excited about the strides. It's the little things, just to know that orders being placed and they're going to be coming in, and I'm working to set up, to be able to take it. So I just have to share that because that's exciting to me. I know, Wendy. Whoop, 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 whoop. So you all, the
Yeah.
t-shirts are coming, Becoming a Being and Unbothered. We got t-shirts coming this within the next week or two. It should be up and ready for you to purchase. So just want to let y'all
Yeah.
know that.
All right.
Michael, what you chomping on?
Girl, you caught me. I was trying to hurry up and chew it before you got to me. I knew you was gonna call me out.
I mean, can you just pass the sister a taste or something?
I mean, you can't be on with your people with stank breath. Shoot, I was trying to get a chewable mint.
All right, you all. Tonight we are talking. Why do I keep attracting the same type of mate? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I want to set this up a little bit because I was watching, y'all know I love my reality TV. There's so much in that, right? There's so much to talk about in that. But last night I was watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And there is Kenya Moore. You all probably know. If you don't watch it, y'all should know Kenya Moore. She's a very talented, very popular actress that's been on a lot of movies and a lot of sitcoms. But I don't even know I don't even know where to tell you what movies because she's been on so many. But my first one I always think of is Deliver Me from Eva, where Gabrielle Union's character had went to some kind of dinner with LL, but she was there by herself at first, and her ex comes up to her and he has this date. That was Kenya Moore. But anyway, long story short, let me move on. Kenya has got married about 3 years ago, and the marriage has not been going well. And so, in last night's episode, she went to go see a therapist. Now, I want to say to all of you out there who may really be struggling with some things, and you need someone to talk to, don't be afraid to get therapy. Okay, please go get the therapy. Wendy said she watched it and she said it was messy. It was a messy show, but there's always something in the mess, right? There's always something in the mess that you can take away. And I want to give you this takeaway that I saw last night. So anyway, let me get back to the story. So she goes to see this therapist and she's talking about how she has been with this guy and she's married to, and she's been holding on to them. And then she got into a conversation about how she is always attracting the same type of man, and she just doesn't know what it is as to why she's attracting the same type of man. And so that was the conversation that she had with the therapist. And, she had to start digging deep into why she's attracting the same type of guy. So we want to talk about that tonight. And it doesn't mean just females, because I bet if I ask Michael, which I'm going to ask him anyway, do men have this problem? Do
Yeah,
men have a problem of attracting the same type of female that's not right for them?
they do. It's not a gender specific thing. I think women just talk about it more. Men are still kind of in that closed closet where you don't want to talk about how somebody got over on you because that's not a dude thing to talk about. But privately, they'll share like, man, I get the same old, and it's usually a derogatory term, skeezer, skank, blah, 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 blah. I apologize to my sisters out there. I don't call you that. But I'm just saying how brothers sometimes say, it's same old, same old. They start off one way and then they just turn into some, this, that, and the third, So they do it. It's the same thing. It's just a little bit different, but it's the same pattern of behavior. Same woman.
So I want to get a little bit more into that tonight, because I think I won't say I think, last night was living proof that this is something that is still happening, always happening, will probably always happen until people start figuring out why they keep ending up with the same guy. Why do I keep finding myself falling for the same type of person and then getting my heart broke? But before I get into that, Michael, you and I had a conversation earlier today, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because I had used the word attract, because in my mind, and I'm gonna speak for the females, and probably not all females, in our mind we are attracting these men, right? Because men are attracted to us and they see us, they want to date us, they want our numbers, and so it's like I'm attracting them. And so, but you didn't like that word. You um talked about, falling, and you said something else, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that tonight, and just let you give your opinion as to why you don't like to say that we attract a certain type, or we attract women, or we attract men. What is it? What is your theology around that, or philosophy, whatever the word is?
Oh, so, well, no, it's not that I dislike the word. I think it can set you up to make it sound like it's a you problem, and this is difficult, and it's multifaceted, it's deep, it's complex. So yes, you can attract, and there are those who are attracted to you. So you don't have to necessarily attract them; they are attracted to you. So that's what I was trying to say. So um, we have types. I know people that have used the same type of cologne for years. I know people that have used the same toothpaste for years. They won't change. It's just their type. So we have types. Some of it is unconscious. Some of it is from, how we were raised. Some people are used to attracting abusers because they grew up with an abuser. So I'm saying that's what we are attracted to. The abuser didn't necessarily attract us. We were attracted to that. It's something about them that attracted us to them. So it's not just we attracted, it's both, and that's what I'm saying. I just didn't want it to be about why do I keep attracting. Is someone attracted to you? They see you, and it's something in them that is attracted to you. It's not something that you're necessarily doing. That's what I was trying to say.
But you're saying on the flip side, you're attracted.
Oh yeah.
Not that you're attracting them, but you're attracted to them.
Yeah.
So I think that is a great point, and I want to talk about that a little bit because in last night's episode, it came out that Kenya was she was attracted to a certain type. It
Yeah.
wasn't that they were attracted to her, but
Yeah.
she was attracted to a certain type. And I get that now that you're saying that. But it was all because there's a hole in her heart. I call it a hole in her heart. She's hurting, she's in pain, right? She is had failed relationship after failed relationship. And one of the things that I wanted to point out that I thought was so pivotal and so critical in that episode last night, and that's what I say, there's something to learn even in the mess, was that when she was talking with her therapist, it's realizing the reason why she was attracted to that type of guy, right? Realizing why she was seeking that out. And it really is sad because it ends up being toxic and not good for her. And then she's wondering why she's in one failed relationship after another and why she's in this marriage that's not working, right? It's not serving her, it's not beneficial. And she's trying so hard to and hoping and praying that he'll come around and it'll work, and it's not. And what it all boiled down to was her relationship with her mother. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So her mother gave her up, had her, I don't think she was big, but a couple of days old, gave her up to her grandmother. And it hasn't had anything, didn't want to have anything to do with her, right? Didn't want to acknowledge her, didn't want to even acknowledge that she had birth to her, never wants to talk to her, see her. She just knew that she's emotionally unattached to this baby. And even as she's grown up, the family member, her like her sister, accepts her like, I'm your aunt, but the mom still don't want to have nothing to do with her, don't want to be around. She's just abandoned and emotionally and physically abandoned. And so what she was doing was she was what she thought was attracting men that were like her mom, but in turn she was attracted to men that were like her mom. And so she's seeking out these relationships where they're emotionally unavailable. They don't want to nurture her, they don't want to talk to her, they don't want to acknowledge her, they're being mean to her. And basically emotionally, her husband has emotionally and physically abandoned her in this marriage. So she's repeating this cycle over and over again, right? And kind of a weird dynamic, and I want to sit here and get you all's thoughts on this because it's kind of weird to me that, because usually we have the father. Oh, it's a father issue as to why you are attracted to these type of men, because you're trying to fill that void of father. But this is, in this instant, a mother issue. The mother that wasn't there for her, and now she is seeking out relationships with men that are like her mother. Why is that?
Well, some therapists, researchers have talked about, and even I know people say don't mention him, but they say the father of psychoanalytic therapy is Sigmund Freud. And
Mm-hmm.
Sigmund Freud said all relationships starts with the mom. All problems starts with mother. That is your first real relationship. You're inside the womb. You're hearing mother's voice. You can hear her heartbeat. Um, and you're getting that attachment from her. When you come out, exit out of the womb, that baby is seeking that same type of attachment. And if the mother, that's why postpartum is so scary, because if the mother shows a disdain for the child, like in postpartum, they don't even like the child. You know, they're cold. That child suffers. So then, this mother who is unable to love this child, to nurture this child starts growing up always wanting, seeking. So she will grow up and be in relationships where she's always wanting and seeking from the other, because she don't have innately inside of her what she need to feel secure, because she never had it from birth. So that's the theory, and that's why they say this a type that we go after. And you would think that we would go after the opposite, but we don't. We go after the same old because it's our familiar. It's what we know.
And so, that's kind of strange to me. I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say strange, because it's common. But her father was in her life, and her father has been very, very supportive, nurturing. He's been there for her. That's her go-to when she's hurting, when she needs advice and she needs help. She's got that father figure who has, shown her love and shown her how a man should treat you. And he's even been married to his wife for 30 something, 40 something years, and he's given her advice about relationships, yet and still she is seeking the toxic side. So I guess for me it's a little bit about, why are we seeking the toxic side of this?
It's a void, and
Hey boo.
you're trying to fill that void. So you're trying to fill that void with individuals who can't do it. And thus, time after time, you keep falling for or attracted to that same type personality, because you are desiring that love and that nurturance from mother. And you can't, you have to learn how to, we call it either patterns of behavior or habits. And you have to learn to break patterns and break habits. And we all know, if you're a smoker trying to quit smoking, how difficult that is. You know, that's not something that you're just going to wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm no longer attracted to unemotional, cold, distant men. Nope, you're probably going to go down there a few more times until you have had enough emotionally and you are getting the help you need. Some women never get it. Some men never get it. And they stay in these very emotionless, very intimate, less relationships. And it's sad. And they will go on their life to just live it out, say, you know what? I guess this is all God had for me.
Right. I think that it's very, very important, but first of all, you got to want it though. I mean, if you keep finding yourself in this cycle and you keep finding yourself in these failed relationships, and you got to first acknowledge that I need some healing, so that you can then acknowledge, why is it that I'm going for this person. And I think that was really big of Kenya, and she needs to be applauded that she even was going to therapy. Right, she acknowledged that she needed some therapy, she needed some release, she needed someone to talk to. But in this therapy, she was able to talk about the fact that she's hurting, and then acknowledging the pattern. She acknowledged and she saw the pattern of the men. And I think sometimes we have to stop and say, okay, I done been in one relationship after another relationship. Let me stop and think about, what did all of these people have in common, and why did these relationships not work? What was it about these men or these women that I dated in these relationships that work? What did they all have in common? What was the relationship like, right? And then kind of start recognizing that pattern. And so she recognized the pattern. And then from there, she was able to talk about the pain and hurt that they were causing her, which allowed her to go back to where she originally felt this, right? Which was the mother. And we have to sometimes, it's a process, and it's not an easy process, it's not a fast process, but we have to start thinking about the pattern that we see, and then where is that pattern coming from? When was the first time I felt or dealt with someone who was emotionally unavailable? How did that make me feel? What did that do to me? Right? So that you can acknowledge where that is coming from, so that you can heal from that past hurt that keeps showing up in your future. And that's just part of the process, okay? But that's just one thing that I just want to make sure my viewers understand, that when you are finding yourself in these cycles, you really have to stop and do some self-evaluation and some self-reflection, not only of yourself but of the relationships, and start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and take that back to, when did this first happen? Because he wasn't the first, right? She was hurt before she got with him. And she was had a hole in her heart before she got with him. But she was hoping and praying that this man would fill that hole in her heart, but he wasn't going to, because you were attracted to the wrong type of guy. You shaking your
So
head,
let me
Michael. Go
ask you,
ahead. Oh, go ahead,
let
Dion.
me ask this question. Do you think that maybe they both, the people that are attracted to each other, have the same underlying emotional issues, where they both have the same type of dysfunction? Because they would almost have to have the same type of dysfunction to come together, wouldn't you think?
That's a
Uh,
good point. That does happen often. It does. Two hurt people you can come together, and they could come together and show each other their hurt, or they could come together and play out the chaos of each other's dysfunction.
what he said, they're both broken, but they may not have the same dysfunction, but their dysfunctions serve each other. So, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, but I might, my dysfunction might be, I want to be needed, right? And so I'm going to look for someone who's going to need me, right? Because people needing me makes me feel good. Now, that's not me. I'm just saying it as an example, but you know, if I'm needy, then I'm going to look for someone. I'm going to be attracted to people who need me. But then there's something inside of me that person who needs me, they need something. They need me, right? And I have something that now fills the hole in their heart that they may have been missing. And so we might both have a dysfunction, but not the same dysfunction that complements each other. And that's why broken people are able to come together, and it seems like it's going to be a good thing, and it's not.
Yeah, good. I mean, excellent point. That is so true. And the flip side of that is if you are someone who needs to be needed, there's an individual out there that needs to prey on your need to be needed, which can cause you to lose house, home, sanity, self-esteem, because his or her need is to suck the life out of you, and you're someone that is giving it to them, and it's yin and yang, and next thing you know, you're down and out. But if you could just go back to what you were saying about her, trying to understand her patterns, oftentimes the reason why we don't take the time, because we don't oftentimes know we're in a pattern. We know something is wrong, but it's hard to really shine the light on ourselves. Your best friend could tell you what's wrong with you, but she can't say what's wrong with her. So it's easy to look at someone else and say what's wrong with them. So that's why it's good to have a third party to kind of, or a second party to bring that out. Just hold up, hold up, hold up. You say you've been in 5 relationships in the last 6 years, yeah, and they all end like this. Well, hold up, let's think about this. So that's what I'm saying. You need that other to help you figure out what's wrong and why do you keep doing this. And if you notice, a lot of people, men and women, they get out of one relationship and get right back in another. They don't take the time to pause to say what happened. They just lonely and they want to be in a relationship and they jump right back in the same type of relationship. It happens quite often.
Mhm.
It's that need that's speaking louder than
Mhm.
what, that hole in their heart is speaking really loud, and it's I want, and we want to satisfy that thing. And I think sometimes that might be why, one of the reasons why some people just go from one relationship, because they're looking to feel something, they're looking to satisfy something, and by any means necessary, I just need that good feeling. But if I can just tell the people out there, men and women, why it is so important that when you have been in a relationship, that you take the time, before you jump into another relationship. I know we talk about rebounds, and they say, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. That's not always true, though. It might feel good for the moment, but in the long run, mentally and emotionally, that's not going to be good for you. You have to take some time to yourself to, again, like I said earlier, self reflect, do some evaluation of, how did I end up here? And I don't even necessarily, it doesn't even have to be, um how did I end up here from, because of a pattern of broken and failed relationships. But you all know I like to be transparent. I don't mind, sharing my life as an example. But going back to a relationship I was in it, when the relationship, when we broke up, was not a good breakup. However, at the time, it wasn't that I was necessarily thinking about, oh, I had one failed relationship after another failed relationship after another failed relationship, because this particular relationship happened to be the major one, right? This happened to be the longer relationship, the more hurtful relationship. But it was a matter of still looking at just that relationship and saying, what happened? How did I get here? What transpired in this relationship? What did I see? What patterns did I see in him? And then we got to be able to look at what patterns we see in ourselves. And I think, Michael, that goes back to the fact that people really don't want to see their flaws. They don't want to see their dysfunctions. And then we end up needing someone else to point them out to us. It's like the psychic who can prophesy, or not, I'm not want to say prophesy, but tell you the future, but they can't tell their own self the future. You can't tell me them numbers to win you can't tell yourself the numbers to win the lottery. Like, how does that
Mhm.
work? Right? We're all like that. We can't tell our own selves. We need somebody to tell us, but you gotta get to a point where you're able to, and you're comfortable enough within yourself to be able to even look at your own behavior and your own patterns in the relationships, and determine where you went wrong. Not always where they went wrong, but where you went wrong. So in this example that we're using tonight, where did Kenya go wrong? Right? And because she went wrong in her choosing. She went wrong in the men that she was picking because of what she was attracted to. And I'm hoping and praying for her that with this therapy and the self-reflection and the realization she had, that she can now work on that and get the healing that she needs, so that she can begin to change the type of guy that she's looking for, right? And make better decisions. So
And I think too, Angelina said, and even you too, Michael, what you guys said is so pivotal, because sometimes people just wanting to have somebody in their lives and not really wanting to deal with their emotional states or even getting the help that they need. They're so driven by wanting to have somebody in their lives that they don't take a good look at their personal emotional state of being and realizing that they need help, that the desire and the need to want somebody in their life is so much greater than getting the emotional help that they need, that they're willing to risk it all just to have somebody, or just to say that they have somebody, so that they can have that feeling or that state of have saying that I have somebody. Because you're always going to the parties by yourself, you're always showing up by yourself, something comes up and you're always by yourself. So just that need of, finally I got somebody, or I can hang somebody on my arm for a chance, for this one time or whatever. So I think that need to have somebody to validate you is greater than that need to be emotionally healed or satisfied in that way. And I think that takes center stage a lot of time.
Yeah, I think what when they come to me and the question is, why do I keep falling, or Mike, why is it that I keep getting my heart broken? And I often tell them, it's hard because when you're meeting someone and you're getting to know them, they're showing you the best that they have. And you have to really look at, if this is the best they have, then do can I accept this? And then oftentimes what I have them do is give your mate some homework assignments. Have them do something nice for you. Tell them what you want and see if they'll do it. And we need to get out of falling for the words, and we need to really focus on the actions. So I would tell
Mhm.
a man, ask her if she would just
Yeah.
go out, just tell her, I need to go. I need you to go out and just grab this for me if you get it. They're gonna come up with all the excuses why not. So I'm saying they're gonna start showing you who they are. And when they start showing you who they are, really pay attention to it and stop saying, well, that was just 2 times out of 5. Well, he did that last week, but he won't do it again. You really have to start looking at behaviors and stop worrying about how much he tells you, he loves you or you're beautiful. Anybody can tell you that. But we always say, just prove it to me. If I'm beautiful, why are you over in the corner talking to Susie or talking to Derek? Why are you
Mhm.
doing that? So the actions. So you got to start really paying attention to his or her actions.
So I'm about to play devil's advocate here because I think that what you said is so true, and I like that homework assignment. But I think sometimes the problem comes that we can't articulate what we want. We can't even tell them what we want. We don't even know what we want them to do. We're just kind of muddling through to see what's going to happen, if he's saying all the right things, and the right things that we're looking for him to say is not the things that we need to be paying attention to. And I just think sometimes it just may be because we don't even know. I don't know what I want him to do for me, because maybe I didn't even see what a man should do for me. I don't even know what to expect. So when you do these sessions with women, do you give them questions to ask? Do you tell them what they need to be looking for? Because I know when we do our coaching program, we talk about red flags. We get into, I don't necessarily get into telling them to go ask questions, but these are some things that you could should be looking at, because they could be signs of something bigger and you have to pay attention. So do you tell them, or how does that work?
So what I do, if they can't really articulate what they want, I usually start with something easy. Tell me what you don't want. Oh man, they could. It'll be like the Dead Sea Scrolls. I don't want him cheating. I don't want her doing this. I don't want them. So we start there. So then I say, well, what do you have at home? And I say it's so important to know what you want, and just as important to know what you don't want. And so when we start with what you don't want, then we look at where you're at. What do you have? And then is this something that can be improved upon? Or is this something where this is just the state and you've adjusted to accept it? And oftentimes they've just adjusted to it. you know what? He ain't that bad. The fear of losing him is greater than the fear of keeping something terrible.
Is it the fear of losing him, or is it the fear of having to start over?
A little bit of both. Good point. A little bit of both.
And
I
I'm thinking of
rather,
being alone. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The challenge of
You
being
know,
alone.
and I think sometimes we make the error of thinking that, man, if he gets her, man, she might turn out to be a diamond in the rough. And I always say, if she do, good for her. That's great. But the statistics say she gonna keep doing what she doing. So yeah, she went on with him or he went on with her. He's gonna do the same thing to her. Don't worry about it. That's just the way it is. A leopard cannot change its spots.
so Wendy said it's the fear of starting over and the fear of being alone, being lonely. Yeah. Couture says it's the fear of starting over sometimes. I think, I think that's really true because I'm not going to lie. I've been there. You kind of get like, oh my God, I got to get to know another person and get to know their personality and go through this process all over again. And, you know, and it's kind of like a time factor as well. And then, I think mentally we send ourselves into a place that we need not go and because then we begin to settle because then we get comfortable because it's like what we've talked about in previous podcasts where we said that we've learned to maneuver around it. I've just learned to, or what you said earlier, they learned to deal with it. I already know what to expect from him. I already know how to navigate in this relationship. Do I really want to start all over? And then, if we've had numerous failed relationships, then you're at the point where you're like, okay, well, if I'm gonna just get another one of him, I might as well just stay with this one. I already know what he gonna do on Monday and Tuesday and how he gonna act on Thursday and Friday. I already know how to navigate this. So, why start all over just to learn a new routine, right? But that's really not what we want to do. That's not good. Wendy said it's emotionally draining. It really is. And I think we got to just get to the point, both men and women, we've got to get to the point where we're tired. But until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to keep going through the motions until you realize that I got to do better.
Yeah.
And how
Two
about
things.
loving yourself and choosing? Yeah, that's
I'm,
important
so,
to choose you sometimes.
I'm sorry, Dion, we lost you. What did you say?
I said, how about loving yourself and choosing you sometimes? Because sometimes, and trying to choose a relationship and that person that doesn't want to be chosen, how about choosing you sometimes and choosing your emotional well being sometimes and maybe getting the help that you need from a psychologist like or somebody of that nature and getting the help that you need. Sometimes we just need to choose ourselves.
I agree, but we got to get out of that mental state that
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
where you're able to push yourself through. Doug says, yeah, because everything beautiful and handsome is not always good for you. It
That's
really
true.
Yes.
isn't. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Can I say
Because
two things?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, One, I want to say, hey Terry, to my niece Katura. Hey Katura. Two, it's and this is mine. It's just mine. It's corny, but in my dealing with men and women, when it comes to affairs of the heart or concerns of the heart, it seems like women see their choices as like a three-quarter eaten bag of M&Ms. Like it's only four left. I gotta savor them. Where men see it like they in a candy shop. I could throw one away, pick up a Snicker, get a whatchamacallit, get a almond joy. Women just see it like, man, I got three M&Ms left. So you ever had a bag of M&Ms? Man, them first 5 or 10, you just get down to about five. You'll hold on to it a little bit more. So that's what I say. It seems like women gonna hold on to it at all costs. Where men like, well, I can take it or leave it. I go pick me up another Snicker bar. What'd you say?
Mm.
Doug said you about to catch it, Mike. No, 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 I get what he's saying, but as he's saying that, because now I'm gonna come back to Doug's other comment. But as you're saying that, Mike, though, I have to think environment, environment, just only being able to look at our current circumstance. And sometimes I just, is it the environment we're in, and because we just can't see that there's more out there, there's more men out there. If you get out of your current city or your current state, and explore. But we're so stuck like right here in this, there's people who've never left the area in which they live. So like here in Cincinnati, they got pockets, and I'm gonna use my husband's area. He's from Kentucky, and he's from a city called Covington, right? And people have never left Covington. So you are just finding whatever's left over in Covington. But if you just go maybe 10 miles over to Florence or Union or something, you might find you someone. And so sometimes I think that Eminem scenario is people who just have whatever fear they have that they can't get out of their current environment. They won't move, right? They
Or
won't
just go over the
explore,
Ohio River. You might find somebody in Ohio.
right?
Just go
Go
over
dip
there.
in a different pond, people.
Right,
Go dip in a
right,
different pond.
right.
So I'm gonna get back to Doug. So Eric says, "Hey Eric, do we blame that behavior on our parents, environment?" That's a good question. I mean, and I'm thinking he's meaning the behavior as in I got to get this man, I got to
That's
get
a
this man.
combination.
It can be a combination of both. Because your parents technically is part of your environment. Um, but there's your environment as far as your family, how you grew up. There's your environment as far as the community you grew up in, your culture you grew up in. So there's different types of environments, but your parents and what they teach you and what they don't teach you plays a big part as well. In the things that they don't say, right? And they don't teach you what to do. And I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let y'all talk because I got a lot to say.
No, I think it's both. Like I said, the first relationship you see is with your mom
Mom and dad.
and
Mom and
her
dad.
yeah, or your mom and your mom's boyfriend, your mom and your dad, your mom and whoever. So you see that relationship. You see the things that she's taken, not taken, how they deal. How we deal with conflict is very important in human development. How we deal with conflict. We talked about it last week. Are we saying to the left, or are we saying bust the windows out your car? It's what you
Mm,
grow up. So we go. Sometimes we grow up around abusers, misusers, and we learn how to navigate that. So we kind of are attracted to people who are chaotic, people that are drama, because we know how that goes. To a lot of people, chaos is normal now. If he ain't fighting, screaming, calling me a b, telling me I'll do this, I don't think he loved me. So it's part environment, it's part from what we know. It's a whole bunch. And I also want to say, Eric, if you're still listening, it was a bear. He'll understand.
Well, let me say, Eric, if you're still listening, don't go back. He'll know
don't
what I'm talking about.
Don't go back. We all know what you're talking about. He knows that.
Get in a different environment. And even if that means leaving that environment, don't go back to the old environment. Find another environment that you can thrive in. But yeah, we got to
What?
get it. So
Did I see a comment from? It looked like there was somebody named Sarah Taylor. Did she have a comment?
Yes, she did. She said that she agreed you should broaden your area to be seen. She's a very smart woman.
That picture. I like that picture. Oh, that's
Oh
exclusive.
God. Eric said we got him rolling on the floor. All right, let me go back though. Let me go back. Let me go back to my boo. All right. He said, where is it at? Because I want to talk about this a little bit, because this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, but it's changing from a hole in the heart, maybe. But he said, yeah, because everything beautiful and handsome is not always good for you. Let's talk about the fact that maybe sometimes we keep getting what we're getting because we're looking for a certain type of person to look a certain type of way. We got our
Mhm.
preference, whether it's light, brown skin, dark, whether it's short, tall. He's got to have this degree. He's got to have so much money. He's got to have this, that, and the third. And that's what we're looking. We're so focused. We're so focused that this is what I want, because we're trying to feel a mental, visual picture to everyone else of what we think is going to look good. And we're not looking at the right things, again, because it's all surface. And you keep wondering why you keep ending up with the same type of guy, because you're not digging deeper. Can we go back to that a little bit about not digging deeper?
Mhm.
Sometimes, and it's not to judge or make someone feel bad, but sometimes it's almost like we still have high school mentality where we want the
Mhm.
cutest boy or the finest girl, where really when they're in the office with me, what they're really looking for is someone who will love them, someone they could talk to, someone they can share a life with, someone that, don't mind, opening the door. I'm just being too chivalry now. That's old school. But you know what I'm saying? Someone that's going to treat them really like the queen and the lady that they are. But the high school mentality say, I want the football captain. That's high school stuff. When it's all said and done, I think we all are searching for finding someone to love us, and that may come in a package that may not look like Drake. It may look like Lil Wayne, but as long as he or she treats you with respect and love, who cares about the package? While that girl talking about how your man don't look good, guess what? You going home with a man that loves you, will rub your feet, will cook dinner for you, and go to church with you and pray to the same God. While her man out there slanging, doing what he can, beating her tail, but he fine and he's community penis. Is that what you want?
No, that's not what I want. So I do want to say this, because Michael, you made me think about this thought.
Wow.
In what you said,
Wow.
is taking me back to something you said earlier, about when we were talking about not knowing what they want. This is going to be my advice to both the men and the women out there when you are trying to figure out what's going to work for you. Okay, and this is going to require some self-reflection. It's going to require you to sit by yourself and think about all of your relationships. And this is what I would say: think about all the relationships and all the people that you've been with and dated, and ask yourself for each one of them, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. What did I like about this person? What didn't I like about this person? What behaviors did they do that I really liked, and what behaviors did they show that I didn't care too much for? And so, and if, because if you don't really know yourself and who you are, and you really don't know, like, what I like, what I don't like, what I'll put up with, what I don't want to put up with, what are my deal breakers, absolutely positively a deal breaker, then you can start to get to know yourself by just analyzing those relationships and asking yourself what worked and what didn't work. What did I like about this person that I feel like fit me, and what did I not like about this person that didn't fit me? And then you can begin from there to start looking and determining what your preferences are and what will work for you, what will not work for you when you're starting to get into these relationships. And I don't remember what you said that made me think of that. But I just wanted to give that little tip. Okay, ladies, it works. It does. It works. Um, hey, Nate. Nate said facts. You got to do, but no matter what, going back to what we've said all along, you got to do some self reflection. You got to do some evaluation. You can't just keep moving forward without giving any thought to the past. Otherwise, you're going to keep repeating history. That's why we learn history. So we don't repeat history, even though we repeat it anyway. So if you don't want to keep repeating your history, then learn your history so that you can stop repeating it. Those are my final thoughts for tonight. Michael Dion, what do you want to say to the people?
Just that you teach who you are. That's my thing. You teach who you are. Sometimes we want something that we're not, or we want an investment and we've not invested in ourselves. So just be careful when you're out there seeking and you're judging somebody. Make sure that that you're giving what you're looking for. And stop looking for Mr. Perfect, because Mr. Perfect has some imperfection. And just to look at you may have some imperfections that you bring along as well. Allow, yourself, like you said, to be true to who you are so that you can be true to the person that you're seeking for. He might not be the handsomest, but he might smell good and he might have some great qualities. So be willing to give somebody a chance. You might find that that diamond in the rough is the diamond that God created for you.
Yeah, I want to say that keep in mind that what we're talking about, I don't want to be like the reality shows where they break up in the first 10 minutes and they go and they get help in the next 25 to 30 minutes, and at the end of the show everything is beautiful. That ain't how life works. That's Hollywood. These habits, those are habits or patterns, they die hard. It's hard to
Mm.
get out of attracting or being attracted to someone that you've been attracted to for a long time. You really have to be very intentional about what you're doing. Relationships are hard. They are. They're difficult. More relationships fail than those that work. So remember that. And remember, when two people are broken, are coming together, sometimes that brokenness can be the thing that helps heal you. Y'all can work together and it can be explosive. Uh, just really understand where you are as a person, and sometimes don't be afraid to say, is it me? Is it me? Stop always saying it's the other. It could be me. uh, Even when you're raising a child, and I'll just use that example. If you constantly letting a child get away with whatever they want to get away with, are they going to stop trying to get away with it? No, they're going to start getting away with more. It's the same way in a relationship. If you allow him or her to just do whatever they want, they're going to keep doing whatever they want until you build up that resistance to say, I'm not taking this anymore. You're either going to stop. So it is, this topic is so like near and dear to me. It's sad, and it's especially if you have children, they have to grow up in separate homes and they have to be victims, which say statistically says that they are already behind the eight ball and how they see their relationship. So we have to be very careful in what we want, and just as and equally as important what we don't want, and learn to just be healthy. Be healthy. I want to be healthy.
Yes, so make sure you understand that healing is a process. So, like Michael said, we watch these reality TV shows and they break up, and then you see 25 minutes of therapy, and then everything is all hunky dory, and that's just not true. That's just not reality. That is edited up, and you all need to know that healing is a process. And there's I don't know anyone who can go get healed in a day, right? It's a process, and it's actually a lifelong journey. And the whole thing is to get yourself to a point where you are able to make good decisions. You're able to see things. You're able to see the red flags. You know who you are, right? And so again, you know what you want, what you don't want, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what personality you gels with, which personalities you need to leave off to the side. And you want to make sure you do that healing before you get into another relationship. Because then when that person comes along, you'll be able to know, no, their personality doesn't work for me. No, their behaviors don't work for me. No, they got too much going on that I don't want to deal with. You'll know what your deal breakers are. You'll know what you want to put up with and what you don't want to put up. And that right there is going to save you a whole lot of headache in a relationship. Now, that's not to say you won't have any headaches, because as Michael said, relationships are work and you're going to have to put in some work, but it's going to be less work if you go in there smarter, knowing who you are and what's going to work for you. All right. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. As always, I have to say, be unbothered. Have a good one.
Peace.